Hello everyone, welcome to another series of today's GK. Let's begin with previous day practice question. Question was the International Day for the Total Elimination of Nuclear Weapons has been observed annually on September 26th, September 27th, September 28th or September 29th. The correct answer is option A, September 26th. The United Nations observes 26th September every year as the International Day for the Total Elimination of Nuclear Weapons. Hence, option A is correct. The aim of the day is to enhance public awareness about the threat posed to humanity by nuclear weapons and the necessity for their total elimination. This day has been observed annually since 2014. The General Assembly declared the International Day in December 2013 in its Resolution 68/32 as a follow-up to the high-level meeting of the General Assembly on nuclear disarmament held on 26 September 2013 in New York. Now let's begin today's session. First question is, in the context of the defense capabilities recently, the term Carl Gustav was in the news. It is aircraft carrier, nuclear submarine, fighter jets or rifle. The correct answer is option D, rifle. Swedish defense products company SAAB will set up a facility to manufacture its Carl Gustav M4 weapons system in India. This is the first time SAAB will be setting up a manufacturing facility for this outside Sweden. The Carl Gustav recoilless rifle is a man-portable multi-role weapon system that allows dismounted soldiers to effectively deal with multiple challenges on the modern battlefield. Hence, option D is correct. The Carl Gustav M4 offers tactical advantages over its predecessors. Speed and maneuverability can be the difference between life and death. The M4 is shorter than 1 meter and weighs less than 7 kilos, so troops can react faster while remaining agile. The Indian Army has been using the iconic Carl Gustav since 1976 and currently operates the Mk2 and Mk3 versions. Next question is, consider the following statements regarding the IMEI, that is International Mobile Equipment Identity. 1. It has 16 digits. 2. Phones with a dual SIM option have one IMEI number. Which of the above given statement or statements is or are correct? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, or neither 1 nor 2? The correct answer is option D, neither 1 nor 2. That is, both the statements are incorrect. The Department of Telecommunications, that is DOT, has made it mandatory for mobile phone manufacturers to register the IMEI number of all handsets made in India with the government. The IMEI is a unique number that is used to identify a device on a mobile network. It has 15 digits and is like a phone's unique identity. Hence, statement 1 is not correct. The number is used to verify the identity of a device when a user uses the internet or places a call through it. Phones with a dual SIM option have 2 IMEI numbers, one for each SIM. Hence, statement 2 is not correct. The IMEI number can help network providers track down a device in case it gets stolen or is lost. Once such loss or theft is reported, the carriers can deny the device access to the cellular network even with a new SIM card. Therefore, option D is correct. Next question is, the Osun River supports millions of people who rely on the water for agriculture as well as industries. It is also an integral part of the Osun Osogbo Sacred Grove, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This river flows in which of the following countries? Nigeria, Norway, Bolivia, or Vietnam? The correct answer is option A, Nigeria. Pollution has become a worrying threat to Nigeria's Osun River. The river supports millions of people who rely on the water for agriculture as well as industries. It is also an integral part of Nigeria's treasured Osun Osogbo Sacred Grove, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Hence, option A is correct. The Osun River is one of the major rivers in southern Nigeria, draining into the Gulf of Guinea. The river takes its source from Ekiti state, but it's culturally linked to the ancient city of Osogbo. A stretch of the river that flows by a sacred grove in the ancient town of Osogbo has been designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site due to its cultural significance. It is one of two such designated sites in Nigeria. Next question is, which of the following best describes the aim of the Mondia Cult 2022? Preservation of marine life, restoration of rivers, safeguarding of culture, or protection of olive ridley turtles? The correct answer is option C, safeguarding of culture. Recently, the Minister of State for Culture attended UNESCO Mondia Cult 2022 World Conference in Mexico. The UNESCO World Conference on Cultural Policies and Sustainable Development, Mondia Cult 2022, is convened by UNESCO 40 years after the first Mondia Cult World Conference held in Mexico City, Mexico in 1982. It is also convened 24 years after the UNESCO World Conference on Cultural Policies for Development held in Stockholm, Sweden in 1998. This is the third such conference. The main goal of the conference is to shape a more robust and resilient cultural sector fully anchored in the perspectives of sustainable development as well as promotion of solidarity, peace and security. It is in line with the vision enshrined in the UN Secretary General's report, Our Common Agenda, September 2021, which refers to culture as a global public good, the good of us all. Hence, option C is correct. Next question is, it is one of the leading global forums on the green economy and it is organized under the patronage of Vice President and Prime Minister of UAE. What is the name of this summit or forum? World Green Economy Summit, Global Green Economy Forum, Green Economy Summit of UAE, or Green Economy Forum of UAE? The correct answer is option A, World Green Economy Summit. Recently, the Union Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change participated in the Ministerial Roundtable for Green Economy, World Green Economy Summit, UAE. The World Green Economy Summit or WGES is one of the leading global forums on the green economy. It brings together world-class experts in critical sectors from around the world to directly focus on advancing the global green economy and sustainability agenda, achieving the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Under the patronage of Vice President and Prime Minister of UAE, this summit is organized by the Dubai Electricity and Water Authority, Dubai Supreme Council of Energy, and World Green Economy Organization in cooperation with WETEX. Hence, option A is correct. Next question is, with reference to the global affairs, which of the following best describes the Senkaku or Diaoyu Strait in Pacific Ocean, Isthmus in Atlantic Ocean, islands in East China Sea, or province of Indonesia? The correct answer is option C, islands in East China Sea. Recently, Japan and China marked the 50th anniversary of the 1972 normalization of their ties. Senkaku in Japan and Diaoyu in China is an uninhabited group of Tokyo-controlled, Beijing-claimed East China Sea islands. Hence, option C is correct. Japan insists that the islands, which once hosted a Japanese seafood factory, are part of its territory, both historically and by international law. China says they were stolen by Japan in 1895 and should have been returned at the end of World War II. The disputed islands are surrounded by rich fishing grounds and undersea oil deposits, and Japan accuses China of suddenly making its territorial claims after the undersea resources were found in a 1969 United Nations report. Next question is, with reference to the National Disaster Management Authority, that is NDMA, consider the following statements. 1. The Disaster Management Act of 2003 envisaged the creation of the NDMA. 2. It is headed by the Home Minister of India. Which of the above given statement or statements is or are correct? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, or neither 1 nor 2? The correct answer is option D, neither 1 nor 2. The National Disaster Management Authority celebrated its 18th Formation Day in New Delhi recently. The theme for this year's Foundation Day was volunteerism in disaster management. On 23rd December 2005, the Government of India enacted the Disaster Management Act, which envisaged the creation of National Disaster Management Authority or NDMA. Hence, statement 1 is not correct. NDMA is headed by the Prime Minister and State Disaster Management Authorities or SDMAs are headed by respective Chief Ministers to spearhead and implement a holistic and integrated approach to disaster management in India. Hence, statement 2 is also not correct. Therefore, option D is correct. The NDMA is the apex body for disaster management in India. It is mandated to lay down the policies, plans and guidelines for disaster management to ensure timely and effective response to disasters. Next question is, the term NRO Launch 91 is associated with which of the following countries? France, USA, Italy or Britain? The correct answer is option B, USA. United Launch Alliance, that is ULA's Data 4 heavy rocket made its last West Coast launch recently, carrying out a mission for the National Reconnaissance Office, that is NRO, as it moves one flight closer to retirement. Liftoff of the NROL-91 mission at the Vandenberg Space Force Base in California took place. Delta IV Heavy is the most powerful version of the Delta IV, one of the two rockets developed under the US Air Force Evolved Expandable Launch Vehicle, that is EELV, programmed to meet the US government's launch needs in the early 21st century. NROL-91 is a spy satellite and was the 387th flight of a Delta rocket since 1960 and the 95th and final launch from Vandenberg. The NRO is the government agency in charge of developing, building, launching and maintaining US spy satellites. Hence, option B is correct. Next question is, in the context of the Atmanirbhar Bharat, the AV-Gas 100LL is referred to aviation fuel, mini satellite system, fertilizer or natural gas plant. The correct answer is option A, aviation fuel. Recently, the center launched indigenously developed AV-Gas 100LL, a special aviation fuel meant for piston engine aircraft and unmanned aerial vehicles. Hence, option A is correct. AV-Gas 100LL, produced by Indian Oil's flagship refinery at Vadodara, has been tested and certified by Directorate General of Civil Aviation, that is DGCA. It is a higher octane aviation fuel meeting the product specifications with superior performance quality standards as compared to imported grades. Last question is, the embroidery gets its name from the community that engages in the craft. They are a nomadic community that traces its origins in Rajasthan and have settled over time in semi-desert areas of Kutch, a district of Gujarat. What is the name of this community? Irula, Riangs, Boros or Rabaris? The correct answer is option D, Rabaris. The Rabari embroidery gets its name from the community that engages in the craft. The Rabari or Rebari are a nomadic community that traces its origins in Rajasthan and have settled over time in the semi-desert areas of Kutch, a district of Gujarat. There are many subgroups within the Rabari community and the embroidery stitches and style also vary from subgroup to subgroup. A commonality by which the craft is recognized is its usage of mirrors or shisha surrounded by colorful embroidery. The designs are usually inspired by mythology and their desert habitations. Motifs special to their community such as moor, that is peacock, ambo, that is mango tree, parrots, elephants and so on are employed. The craft is practiced usually by women. A large part of their work makes up their bridal trousseau. Now it's time for the practice question. The International Translation Day 2022 is celebrated on 29th September, 30th September, 1st October or 2nd October. Send the answer of this question in the comment section. Stay tuned for the next episode. Thanks for watching.